I focused on this one thing and my entire life changed. Hey there, my name is Lesline and I am your favorite nurse yogi. If this is your first time clicking on my pretty face, thank you. I am a registered nurse with 12 years of healthcare experience, and I'm also a certified yoga instructor with 5 years of teaching experience. Today, we are going to talk about the one thing that I did that absolutely transformed my life. It's actually the one choice that I made, that I committed to since my kids have been on this earth, and that is focusing on my health. Yes, focusing on my health. That is always the thing that I choose each and every day. And I want to break down in this video how I do that, right? So, also, just a sidebar, we are doing 100 days of YouTube. Yes, you heard me correctly. We are doing 100 days of YouTube. I was looking down at my phone just to make sure I'm staying on track. I don't have a script, I am just speaking from the heart. But today is, I believe, 71 days straight of YouTube. Isn't that wild? That's wild. Every day for the past 71 days, I have posted 20 to 30-minute videos with the exception of one day. One day it was a 3-minute cute mini vlog. You know, the girlies, we love a mini vlog, right? I did that. But every other day, it's been about 20 to 30-minute videos. Really excited about that, but I want to get into you and what you need as a new mom. This is what you need to focus on, y'all. Yes, you need to make sure your kids are well, right? And they're fed and clothed and all of that. But if you are not taking care of yourself, if you are not healthy, and you notice I like to say the whole phrase, taking care of yourself, self-care, if you will, but I feel like self-care, we think the bubble bath and the massages, which I love a bubble bath and I love a massage, but there is a deeper part of self-care. So that's why I say taking care of yourself, even though that is one and the same. But I feel like my chair keeps squeaking. It's so annoying. When I say self-care, I don't know. What do you think of at first, right? I'd love to know down below, because I feel like it's like you think of self-care and you put it on the back burner. When in actuality, I need you to put it on the front burner every single day. Like, I need that to be hot, 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 okay? And the only way that you can prioritize yourself as a new mom is if you have a sense of worth, like you care about, like you know that you are worthy, you love yourself. These things can be hard, especially as a new mom, when your physical body has changed, your brain has changed. Don't quote me on this, but I want to say, like, you are different. Like, you are different physically, but you're also different mentally after you become a mom. Like, we are rewired. And we are. Because you are now having to make sure that this child that you created, right, is now, like, they're living outside of you, and you have to keep them safe, right? At least for those first 18 years and then some. Anyways, so I've realized that before I had kids, I didn't love myself. That's what I'm getting at. I didn't love myself, and how that showed was me not taking care of myself, and it had to be me having 2 kids back to back that I was like, wait a minute. I have to put me first, Lucius. I don't know why I'm saying that. I'm sorry. I have to laugh. Today, just for a sidebar, I do work a corporate job. It was a lot today. And this is like my space to just really just be the way I want to be, right? And so I'm really grateful for this, for YouTube, to just be able to express myself and obviously help you. So I didn't love myself before kids, and then once I had kids, and my body just felt like mush, and I just felt really low. I was having postpartum intrusive thoughts. I had all of that. I'll leave that full video down below. And I remember that day like it was yesterday. I found my life coach, and I was like, I need what she has. Like, I need it. And it wasn't that I didn't want to take, you can't see, like, let me say this, when you see somebody online and you're like, you admire them, it's a mirror, if you will, of what lives within you, right? So with that life coach, I admired her confidence, how bold she was, how as a Black woman, she just took up space and talked however she wanted to talk, respectfully, of course. And that, when I looked at her, it was because deep down, I wanted to be like that. And it wasn't jealousy. It was like, oh, well, she's offering a program to give me what she called unfuckwithable, I say that weirdly, but unfuckwithable confidence. I was like, yes, I need that, because I was never confident as a kid. As a kid, I was always made fun of for being skinny, too skinny. I remember this crush I had in middle school. I will never forget it. You remember how we have had the calculators, because now, like, well, do they still use like the fancy calculators at like $100? But you remember like the old, like just the basic calculators. This kid wrote boobless on the calculator and then sent it to me. He just pushed it towards me and he started laughing, and I felt so defeated, and I just never felt what's the word, like, wanted by men. And that really put a lot of damper on my confidence once I became a woman. And obviously now, with how social media is, like, and the personal work I've done, not just taking clips from things I see, like my own personal work, I realized that I have to love and accept myself. I don't need somebody else to fulfill me. The other person, like my husband, is an add-on. It's an addition to me, right? And I know you're like, girl, where are you going with this? But before you focus on your physical health, you need to focus on personal development. I didn't know that this is where the video was going to go, but you have to focus on personal development. So it's actually the one thing I did focus on that changed everything for me as a new mom was focusing on personal development. When I focused on personal development, and as I already shared what that looked like for me, because I don't like when people say, just do the work, do the work. A lot of us are like, what is the work? I hired a life coach and a therapist to help me postpartum. Transformed me. Trans fucking formed me, okay? I was just like, what? Like, I was like, I didn't know the world was this bright, okay? Prior, just felt dark. Even before I had kids, it was just like doom and gloom for me all the time. And I didn't have goals for, like, I had goals of finishing nursing school and, buying a car, getting my first job, going to college. But I didn't know, here we go. I didn't know why I was doing those things, minus getting the car, because the car was freedom. But like going to school, becoming a nurse, that was for my parents. That was for them, other people, to make them happy. It wasn't to make myself happy. So it wasn't until years later, become a mom, I realized I am not happy. I was grieving too. I was grieving the person I thought I was going to be. But mind you, I didn't even like journal this person I was going to be or any of that. I just saw how other people were living online and I was like, damn, I never got that. We being real honest right now, right? And so then once I become a mom and do what society tells me to do, I'm grieving. I'm grieving the life that I wish I could have had, right? So that was also why those, for me, Leslie Simone Pittman, I believe those postpartum intrusive thoughts came, obviously the hormonal shifts, but also that grief where I was like, damn, my life is never going to be the same, right? And I was like, I have to figure out how with this new life that I have, where I have two humans that love me so, so much. How can I make sure I'm the best mom, but also be the best person for me first, right? Did the work, did the personal development work. Once I did the personal development work, I was like, okay, let's work on this body. Let's work on this boobless body. Because after kids, I was no longer boobless. Everything filled out, if you will, for me. And it was a matter of, I want to tone because I like the weight that I have because I was very skinny. When I tell you I was a very skinny individual, I like the weight that I have, but how can I, mold what I now have? And that's when I went in. And then when I say I went in my home gym, okay? No fanciness, if I'm gonna be honest with you all. I still don't have a trampoline. What's it called? A treadmill. I still don't have a treadmill. I need to get a treadmill because some days I'm like, I don't want to go outside for whatever reason, right? But focusing on my personal development was what made it easy for me to focus on my health. Because if you don't know your why, here we go. If you don't know your why of why are you working out, you will fail. And I'm here to tell you, though, failure is not a bad thing, but in the way that our society is made, it is deemed like it's not. It is, but it's not. And I feel like now my brain is like, where are we going with this, Leslie? Just bear with me, y'all. We're going to trudge through. But that's how, because I have such a great level of respect. I think that's also what it is, respect. Let's look up actually let's define respect, because that's the biggest thing. Like we always tell, we tell our kids, you got to respect people, respect, each other. But how do you respect yourself, right? Respect is a feeling of deep admiration for someone or something elicited by their abilities, qualities, or achievements. Ooh. So I like that definition as the noun. So the noun is having a feeling of deep admiration. The verb is admire someone or something deeply. So either way, if it's a noun or a verb, respect is the main word in there that sticks out to me is deep. You admire someone deeply. And I don't feel like it's talked about it enough as a mom. I feel like motherhood in general, it's like we're just, shout out to Sloan. Shout out to a friend of mine, Sloan, who was also another coach I had. Her whole thing is like motherhood, not being a mom and not a martyr. And I realize that's my trigger for me, is when people choose to use motherhood as a cop-out and as a martyr, because I realize it's a trigger for me, treading lightly with this, because I have respect for myself. And I don't have to say deep respect, because we just found out that respect is having a feeling of deep admiration for someone, that's me, or something. And I realize why martyrs trigger it triggers me bad. It's because I respect myself. I respect myself a lot. And that's a double thing too, right? So I have a deep admiration for myself. I know what I am capable of. Not as fully as I should, still working on that, right? But I know the level of excellence that I want to bring, if that be here creating videos, and just I want to be that role model for my children. Role models are so important, right? And I was talking about this recently. Well, it wasn't recently. It was actually a post that I made in December. I am going to try my best. I don't know, because, okay, it's going to be a late post today, guys, but I'm going to insert me talking about how can you tell your kids to be the best they can be if you're not being the best you can be? I catch myself telling my son, you can do it. You can do anything you put your mind to. And when I say that, actually, since he's been born, I also put it on myself. So anytime that I work out or I do anything where I am scared as hell, I think of my kids. And today we went to Wonderworks for my daughter's birthday. She wanted to go to the Upside Down house. She's been saying that for like months now, right? And we went to the Upside Down house today, and my son, he wanted to do the ropes course. And so he's like, Mommy, you want to do it? And I was like, you know what? I'll do the ropes course. So I did the ropes course, not knowing anything, what's going on, but it is heights. So if you're afraid of heights, I wouldn't suggest that you do it. But it actually, that's contradicting of what my story is, right? So we do the ropes course, and there's easy, hard. And one of the courses, he was like, I already had completed it, right? And I think, no, there wasn't even anything on it. It didn't tell you if it was easy. It didn't tell you if it was hard. So he's on one side and he's like, Mommy, is it hard? And I said, you tell me, like, what do you think, right? And I feel like that is a story in itself. For example, content creation, right? Depending on who you talk to with anything in life, one person's going to tell you, you just got to put the work in, like blah, 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 strategy, all these things. Another person may say, it's hard, it's oversaturated, da, 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 and they just put all this on you. And you're just like, I just wanted support. And, maybe as the person asking, what do you think about content creation, and give me just the positive. Maybe I should be better with communication. I know that's why we're doing these videos. But today was a great real-time example of my son asking me, is it hard? And I said, no, I want you to tell me if it's hard. Then there was one course that was very hard, and I thought it was hard, and I was scared. I was scared, and I did it first, and then he did it. And as he's doing it, I'm just teaching him my yoga stuff, because as he's like getting tense, he's about to fall. I'm like, breathe, take a breath, be still. In the stillness is how you move forward. Don't look back. There's no reason to look back. And I feel like that's metaphorical. And I said that today to him, actually. I was like, when you look back, that doesn't serve anybody. Nobody in this situation. You only look forward. You only stay where you are in that moment and look forward, right? And so I just want to leave you with this. Like, when you're telling your kids, be brave, put your mind to it, you can do it. Are you setting the example? Are you setting the example? And I made sure today to set that example, even though I was terrified, but I did it. And also, with that being said, he was like, I took a risk. And that in itself, I was like, bro, I'm right there with you, because I know what it's like to take a risk as an entrepreneur, as somebody that I'm first in my family to do this. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing, right? So I hope that leaves you motivated and encouraged that you got this. I'll see you in the next one. Now that you've watched that, I know, but it's true. It's like you have to learn how to have self-respect. You cannot tell anyone, and we're talking about kids because I'm a mom and I create content for new moms specifically. You cannot tell, and as a new mom, you're probably not really thinking about this, but it starts when they are baby. They are watching everything you do, even if they cannot fully conceptualize. Oh, mommy is, going to take a walk, and she's taking a walk with me. They will know, like, as long as I can remember, my mom always was exercising. She would even take me with her, and that shows your children that you care about yourself. And I will point fingers here. Society has a lot to do with that, but over here, we're not, again, shout out to Sloan, we're not being martyrs in motherhood. We're taking accountability. We're taking accountability because not everybody, it was a choice. That's another conversation for another day, right? But we're taking accountability for where we are now. We cannot look in the past. We can only look in now and in the future, right? So stop looking behind you. Look where you are now and look at where you want to go, right? And if you need help with focusing on your health and, really just focusing on your health as a new mom, I've created an entire 12 weeks, 3 months where I give you all the tools. So how I broke that down is really my program, and it's way more structured. It's way more structured, but we start with mindset, because self-worth, right? Like having self-worth, having self-respect, it's mindset. I hear it a lot on my corner of the internet because of the space I'm in, so I'm not even gonna like roll my eyes, because I'm not gonna assume that. But if you are realizing I keep hitting a stumbling block when it comes to taking care of myself, you have to get to the root, right? What is the reason that you keep forgetting yourself? You're the only one that's in your body every single day, right? And my camera's at 10%. You're the only one that's in your brain, in your physical body every single day. No one else can know exactly what you need, right? And if you know deep down that something's maybe off, right? You need support. Hey, I'm your girl. So I'm going to close with that, and I will see you in the next one. Same time, same place. Bye for now.